Hey guys, so welcome back to the 7th Django tutorial. So in this video we'll be learning about databases and how we can link our website to a database. So let's see where we are till now or where we have reached till now. So now this is our site called Memorial. Let this load and yeah, we have about us, our library and our books, alright? So let's say you wanted to pass all this info into a database. So how do you do that? So basically what you could do is like you could just install a database and you could like write some SQL to make the table in the database, right? So basically let's go back to our project and yeah, now we have this model. So like if you wanted to make a table in your database, you will have to write SQL and make one column for head, like under which we'll have about us, our library and things like that. Then the second column for small description and so on, right? But the main thing with that is you have to write SQL all by yourself. But that's where in Django you have an option known as ORM or object relational mapping. So what ORM does, like in like just simple words, ORM makes the table for you without you having to write any SQL. Alright, so like that's how cool Django is. So now let's see like using ORM how we can do that. Alright. So let me like close all the unnecessary files right here. We'll be using Memorial. So the first thing is you have to install the database. So there are so many databases you can install like SQLite, MySQL. But for this video we'll be using Postgres. Alright. So just search for Postgres SQL and just install it for Windows or Mac, like on whichever device you are. I already have this installed, alright? So like this will take a lot of time to install, alright? Anyways, so during the setting up, they will ask you for a password. Like they will ask you to make a password for your database. Please do not forget that. We need that. Like that's super important, alright? So now after you install Postgres, so Postgres is just your database. So now you need a UI to access the database with, right? You like need a user interface with which you can access Postgres. So for that we'll be using something known as pgadmin. So pgadmin will be the UI we'll be using. So just go to pgadmin Postgres tools. And yeah, you can install it from here. Just install the latest version. You can go to download. You can choose Windows or Mac. I'll be choosing Windows. And yeah, just install this version right here. So you have to set up both pgadmin and Postgres. So after you install them both, just search for pgadmin on your Windows search bar and open it up. So it will open up a new tab for you with all this, alright? So first it will be asking you the password to your database. Please enter the same password which you entered during setup, alright? So once you do that, you'll be having something like Postgres SQL 12 and databases. So I already have two made. Okay, anyways, so for the sake of this video, we'll be making a new database. So let's right click on database, go to create database, and you can name this anything you want. I'll be naming this as YouTube. All right. Okay, let's save it and let's wait for this to get made. All right. And there you go. YouTube is made. So under YouTube, like how do you get the tables in your database? So you have to go to a thing known as schemas. So all your tables will be under schemas, alright? So once you go to schemas, just go down, go to tables. But as you can see, we have no tables as of now because we didn't make any table, right? So we have to make a table. How do we do that? So for making a table, as I mentioned, we'll be using ORM. And for ORM to work, we need to like consider models. So our book class should be made using models, but in this, like, we are not using models right now. So you have to make this using models. How do you do that? So basically, after class books, just put a pair of brackets and enter in models dot model. All right, and that's it. So after that, for your head, change the colon to an equal to. If you put a colon and do all this, it ain't gonna work. All right. So now our heading will be like very small. All right. So we can use models dot car field. So you have car field, integer field, pic field, image field, boolean field, and like so many other fields. In this case, I'll be using models dot car field. All right. So I'll be setting my max length as 20 because I don't believe the heading will be exceeding 20 characters. Okay, so yeah, now you can go to small description. Again, change the colon to an equal to. If you put colon, it ain't gonna work. Now descriptions like can be a bit big, right? So instead of car field, I'll be using text field. All right, models dot text field. Similarly, for big description as well, like it can be super big. So again, I'll be using the same thing, models dot text field. All right, and yeah, that's basically it. So now your book class has been like completely like being made for migration. So what do you mean by migration exactly? Basically, you have to migrate this book class for it to make a table all by itself in the database, right? Okay, let's save this first. Now after you save this, I want you to go to your settings.py. So we have some changes to make here. So if you go to databases, you can see that this is still in the default database, that is SQLite. You have to change it to PostgreSQL, all right, because you're working with that. Similarly, your name, you're supposed to put the name of the database. So I named my database as YouTube, so I'll be putting in YouTube. Now like we have to add some more fields. Our next field will be user. All right, so user basically, whoops, okay. So user, like you have to basically enter in your user. In this case, it will be Postgres. So like just enter in Postgres if you're following along with the video. Then you need a thing known as password. So this will basically be the password to your database. So I'm gonna blur this out. You have to enter in your database password. All right, okay. Now after this, you will need to enter in something called host. So now since we are not planning to publish our site, I'll be using localhost. Like when you publish your site and like make it available for the entire world, you'll have to change all this, but that's a whole another video. All right, so in this video I'll just be putting host as localhost. Okay, and yeah, that's basically it. So you set up your database folder, part in your settings.py. But now, okay, so now let's think about it. You have Django on one side, you have the Postgres database on the second side. So you need something in between to connect both of them together. So that connector, like in Django, it's called psycopg2. So you have to install psycopg2. So just put in pip install psycopg2. All right, and just wait for this to get installed. So this is basically the connector that will connect your Django to your Postgres basically. All right, okay, so let's wait for the this to get installed. Okay, I already have it installed and it's done. All right, okay, so now what do we have to do? Now you have to make migrations. As I mentioned, your book class will have to get migrated so that it can make a table in your database, right? So you have to make migration. So how do you do that? You can enter in something like python manage.py make migrations, and there's an error over here, it's manage.py. Okay, let's press enter. Okay, and let's wait for it to make the migrations. Let me close up Mr. Code. Okay, and it gave me an error. Oh gosh, what is this for? It says that Memorial is not an app. Okay, so what happened here is we forgot. Okay, so like let's just think about this. We started an app called Memorial, but we didn't like inform to Django that Memorial is an app. So how do we inform this to Django? So just go to settings.py. All right, and once you go up, you can find installed apps right here. So you have to add memorials in this. So I'll be putting in memorial dot apps dot memorial config. In memorial config, the starting alphabet should be in capital. Please like be careful about that. And python manage dot py make migrations, and let's see if this works. Oh no, a typo. Okay, let's see if this works. This should work. And it still gave me an error saying memorial.apps is not a package. Okay, maybe it's I forgot to put a comma over here. Maybe that's why. Let's put a comma. All right. And let's see if this works. And there you go, it worked. So it made the migration folder for you. So once you go into migrations under your Memorial app right here, and once you open that, you can find a thing known as 0001 underscore initial.py. So now this is basically your migration folder. So let's open this. All right, once you open it, as you can see, you can find in every information we added about the head, the small description, but there is a problem. Our big description is not to be seen here. What happened? Let's cancel this out. Let's go to models.py and like see what happened. Oh, what happened here is we forgot to change the colon to an equal to. You have to be very careful about that. So let's just rerun the command. And let me close this up first. Okay, let's enter in 1 and the default value just put as 0. And there you go, it has been done. So you have a thing known as, now you have a new file called 002 underscore book so and so. Let's open that up. And in this, there you go. This is basically your file in which you added the field. All right, so you added big desk as well because you forgot to add it in the main file. Okay, so now you have your migrations done. How do you migrate this to your database? It's actually very easy. You can just put in python manage.py migrate, and that's basically it. So now it'll migrate this to your database. All right, so let's wait for the migration to complete, and let's see if it all checks out as okay. And there you go, it all checked out as okay. Let's go back to our browser and refresh our tables. And there you see we get all these new tables, right? Along with that, we also get memorial underscore books, which is a table that we made. Let's open this up. Let's right click, go to all rows. Let's see if we get all the columns that we mentioned. Let's wait for this to load, and there you go. We get head, we get small description, and we get big description. So yeah, that is how easy it is to make a table in your database without writing SQL query using Django. So this is how cool ORM is. So yeah, that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll be learning how to add the values to our database. All right. So as usual, if you have any doubts, do leave them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to answer them. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And that's it for this video, and bye.